Time for the sports, guys. Coming to you live from right here in San Antonio, the KSAT 12 studios, and from Washington, D.C. That's where you find our Larry Ramirez at the National Mall. And, Larry, it has to be fun these first two games for you to watch the performance of Dak Prescott in person.
Yeah, it really is. He's got off to a slow start, in both games early on, but then just something all of a sudden clicks, and he just seems to find a rhythm, and his receivers are making catches. And, of course, when the Cowboys win, it is certainly a fun locker room, as you know.
Well, as good as the Cowboys' offense is, does the Dallas defense give you pause for concern giving up that many points late in the first two games of the season against the Giants and today against the Redskins?
No, not at all. I mean, they gave up one touchdown to the Giants in the fourth quarter. That was with some 3 minutes to go. And then today they only gave up 7 points in the fourth quarter to Washington. That was with some 2 minutes to go. So I'm not concerned about that at all because they were not close ball games. The Cowboys pretty much already had those games in hand. And what I'm really impressed about so far with Cowboys defense, they're not playing up to their best potential. We know that. But so far in the first two games, the Cowboys their defense have faced 20 third downs, and they have stopped the opposition on 16 of those. So their third down defense right now is playing lights out.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. The Houston Texans came into today's game against Jacksonville favored by 8.5 points, came close to losing had Jacksonville made a 2-point conversion at the end of the game. Why is the Texans offense not producing more touchdowns?
That's a good question. I can only point my finger towards the fact that they made some changes the week right before the regular season started, so these guys are still maybe trying to figure, each other out. Laramie Tunsil, we know, is a really good left tackle, but he still has to figure out what Deshaun's about and how to block for his running backs. And Carlos Hyde is starting now, and Lamar Miller is supposed to be the starter. So I think it's just some of those changes that maybe they just still have to work out those kinks.
Yeah, and that offensive line is still a little porous because Deshaun Watson's being taken out of his game a lot of times with those sacks, as they pointed out, just 4 today as well. What was more impressive, the Aggies' 62-3 defeat of Lamar or the Longhorns' 48-13 rout of Rice? Both of them pretty big blowouts.
Yeah, you know what, to me personally, I think they're both equal. They both faced teams that they were supposed to beat by a lot, and they both did win by a lot. I mean, Sam Ehlinger, passed for almost 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. I know Texas was much better third down conversions offensively than they were the week before. And then Kellen Mond, he only had 1 touchdown and, 1 interception, so I know that he probably wanted to play better. But both teams needed a bounce-back win after losing, and they both got it.
Yeah, and they both open conference play. SEC with Auburn for the Aggies, and, of course, Oklahoma State, Big 12 for Texas this coming week. Team USA coach Greg Popovich admonishing fans who think Team USA should be ashamed they did not bring home the gold medal from the World Games and instead finished 7th. The worst a team from USA finished since NBA players are allowed to suit up. What is your take on the blame game?
We all know Pop is going to defend his guys. He's going to defend his team to the very end. And I don't blame fans for saying that because we are used to Team USA winning gold medals when it comes to basketball. But I think what this points out is the fact that, the world is getting much better at basketball. We see how much European flavor is in the NBA now, and it's incredible. And also, I think this goes to show that the NBA's best players are on a level all to themselves. What do we have? Maybe 1 or 2, 3 possible elite guys on this current Team USA. Right. If we had the LeBrons and all of them on this team, they probably would have won gold. So I think that just shows you the difference between the top-tier NBA guys and then the guys right below them.
All right, saving it for the Olympics. ESPN's 30 for 30 documentary on Dennis Rodman was released last week. It tells a warm story from growing up, his NBA career, his visit to North Korea. But it seems to gloss over his time here in San Antonio and trying to watch the film online. The part featuring his time as a Spur has been left out and replaced with commercials. What did you think of the documentary, and why so little talk about when he played for the Spurs and helped him become the person he is today?
That's weird. And, honestly, I haven't seen the documentary yet. I was talking with sports producer Daniel Villanueva about it, and he was like, hey, they cut out all the San Antonio stuff. I find that weird because in San Antonio, when he joined the Spurs, isn't that when he really first started to act kind of bizarre. So I don't know why you would leave that stuff out. I don't get it
Yeah,
personally.
and that's where the hair color changes and started. His more flamboyant attitude on and off the court started. The fans seem to love him, and they say even in the documentary he did not like his time in San Antonio. I hope they meant with the Spurs and his dealings he had with Pop, and Pop was not a big fan of his, obviously, for all his flamboyancy. He just liked him just to play basketball and be done with it. But I thought the fans really embraced him. I know the media embraced him. I thought he embraced the city. I thought he liked playing here. I know he liked playing with David Robinson. So I think they're a little off the mark on this, but nonetheless, that's just our opinion. Thanks, Larry. Safe travels home. And that does it for the Sports Guys.